end this emote, he kicks the ball. Oh my god, look at that. Dude, once you get a kill, this... Dude, that is crispy. Nah, bro, you're not gonna win this battle. Oh my god. Oh my god, that was insane. Yo, what is going on, my friends? Welcome back to yet another video. Listen, I know the game's in a down period. Every content creator you know has made a video saying how the game is ass. But the show must go on, my friends, and today is no different. For all of my loyal soldiers out there still watching my content, I appreciate you guys. And I have one small request, and that is for you to smash that like button. Just like I smashed that footy off over to Eververse store, and maybe I broke a window, who knows. Anyway, let's take a look at today's weapon. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm going to the kiosk and I'm going to Legacy Gear, and we are going to be looking at the Breakneck. That is the focus of today's video. Those of you who are unfamiliar with the weapons on this page, these are weapons from a bygone era in Destiny 2 where you could actually get good loot for playing PvP, or in this case, Gambit. These are all previously Pinnacle rewards from those activities. Now, you cannot use these, or you cannot use 99% of these weapons in high level activity, which requires power. However, you can take them into Iron Banner and regular PvP with no issues whatsoever. So even if you are a new player, you can get one of these weapons, and the Breakneck can be yours for a small fee of 1 Ascendant Shard, 2 Prisms, 100 Legendary Shards, 75,000 Glimmer, and a mortgage at your nearest bank. Anyway, so here it is. This is the Breakneck. This weapon is really, really cool. Honestly, I'm not just saying that. This is one of the coolest auto rifles in the game, and since it's also a 450 RPM auto rifle, I really thought maybe now is the time to try this thing out. If you guys don't know, 450 RPM auto rifles got a damage buff not so long ago, and this weapon has an incredibly cool perk that no other gun in the game has. It's called Onslaught. This weapon's rate of fire increases as you stack Rampage. It just starts to fire faster and faster and faster with each stack of Rampage that you get, whilst maintaining that 450 damage value. It gets pretty insane. One of the streakiest weapons I've used in a long time. The funny thing about this weapon is that all the time that it was available, and it wasn't a legacy weapon, so back when it came out, and you know, the years that it was still a light level weapon, right, like a high level weapon, in all of that time, this gun was never as good as it is now, which I just find kind of funny, right? Because back then 450 RPM auto rifles were just frankly absolutely rubbish. Like, nobody used these weapons at all. If you were going to use an auto rifle, it would be a different archetype. And so even though this gun had the Breakneck perk and it was super cool, I don't think this weapon was ever close to being meta in PvP. Maybe in PvE it was very good for taking out ads, perhaps, I'm not sure. But the way the weapon works here, it's just absolutely marvelous, because not only do you get that ramp up in speed with each stack of Rampage, you're getting a buffed 450 RPM damage with Rampage. So it's massively buffed. Could almost feel the surprise on the faces of my opponents as they got absolutely obliterated by a weapon that some of them probably don't even know what it is. Some of them probably will and remember it just not being that good. That leads me to my other point, which is I don't understand why a gun like this cannot exist in the game as a high level weapon, and maybe it could not exist with like different roles for, you know, instead of extended mag and whatever it has, you know, you could choose other perks, other barrels, other magazines. You know, get one Breakneck a week from playing a certain amount of games of Gambit. You know, I don't know why it's so problematic for this weapon to be available in all types of content. I really don't understand what the issue is. You can see here, I'm just working towards my friend's downfall here. This guy, he's a good friend of mine, this fella. Me and this guy, we've got a lot of love for each other. These are tea bags of love, maybe. But yeah, man, there's just something about this gun. I don't have audio playing here because this footage is from stream and I was listening to copyrighted music. So in the gameplay right now, you can't hear the sound of the gun. I think in the intro, you would have heard the gun sound, and I'm sure you will agree with me that it is just absolutely crispy and satisfying. The sound of this gun, the feel of this weapon, it is brilliant. Now, in terms of the weapon setup, I was using Rampage spec because obviously Rampage is directly tied to the increase in rate of fire of this weapon. There's a lot of misinformation going around about this weapon, even to this day, that people claim that you get an increase in rate of fire, but you actually start doing less damage. As far as I can tell, that is not the case. The weapon RPM goes from 450 to 600, and with one stack of Rampage, you start hitting 35 to the head at 600 RPM. So that's absolutely nuts. Like, I don't think even with kill clip active on a 600 RPM, I don't think you're hitting numbers like that, anywhere near that. In fact, this gun is absolutely monstrous, is what I'm saying. Now, as far as I'm aware, Rampage ×1 and ×2, the RPM seems to stay at 600, and only if you get ×3 will you see it go all the way up to 720 RPM, whilst also getting the extra damage of Rampage ×3. This gun is a monster. It really is. It's just a very streaky gun. In its base form, it's solid, especially after this 450 damage buff. Like all 450s, it's just solid. 32 to the head. It hits very solidly, and it's very easy to get going with the kill streak with this weapon. It's not exactly difficult. Now, yeah, it is maybe a little bit weird that Rampage ×2 doesn't increase the RPM, but there's really no other RPM for it to go to, right? Because 450, 600, 720, that is the maximum RPM for auto rifles in this game. In D1, RPM did go up to 900, but obviously, you know, this isn't that game. SMGs exist in Destiny 2. And I just think it's absolutely disgusting. Like, you can just see here with one stack of Onslaught / Rampage, it is just a monster. It is an absolute monster. And I guess maybe if Breakneck never comes back to the game, maybe what they will do is make it so that the Onslaught perk returns to maybe another weapon. You know, the same way that we saw Desperado arrive into the game without Claymore. You know, maybe the same thing could happen with Onslaught, and I think they should, man. I don't know what they're so afraid of. I really don't get it, because it's a gun with a lot of power, but the power is locked behind getting kill. It's not the type of gun that's just going to be insane by default and just, you know, making the game just trivial. It's not like that at all. And I just don't understand why Bungie are so afraid of putting guns like this in the game. Was Breakneck even hard to get back in the day? I don't think it was. I mean, I don't remember struggling to get this weapon. I mean, you're just playing Gambit. It's not exactly the hardest mode in the game. No offense to any Gambit warlords out there, but I mean, Gambit is very simple. You invade with overpowered, busted heavy weapons, and you kill dregs and bank moats. There's not a whole lot going on there. It's hardly the, you know, the pinnacle of competitive play. Again, there's some Gambit lords just fuming at my comments, but you know, it's true. It's true. I don't know. I just think it's funny that this gun is finally good, and it's just sunset and basically just irrelevant, and it's finally actually good after years of being in the game. Now in PvE, I'm sure it's always been good, but in PvP, it hasn't been too great. Oh, that snipe was filthy, by the way. Absolutely filthy. Me and my boy Gugden, listen, man, we had some beef. We sorted it out, you know. We sorted it out like real guardians, you know what I'm saying? A few tea bags, a few emotes, a few cheesy deaths. Hey, listen, man. Guys, this gun is absolutely brilliant, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe. And come over to my Twitch channel. I'd really love to hear from you over there on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Shake. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.